Got your phones turned off on silent, airplane mode. All right, you know the deal. After it goes off, I smash it. Coach ready when you are.
Okay. Afternoon, everybody. We're excited to play LSU here at night. Another top 10 program coming in here, and deservedly so. Very well coached. Offensively, Nussmeier's playing really, really well, throwing the ball a lot of empty sets, more and more as weeks go by. Um, Throwing it more and more, and they should. They're really good at tackle, where they can protect both tackles, and really good at wide receiver. Um, so our defense and tight end as well. Our defense has their work cut out for them because they're well coached and playing extremely well defensively. Both our defensive ends are a problem. Swinson and Jones, both really good players. I like their linebacker group as good as anybody that we played, uh, starting with Weeks and then Penn and Burns. They're really good players. And then Gilbert's playing really good at safety, making a lot of tackles for them there. Um, Defense probably is what you notice a little bit more this year, the improvement that they've made over last year. And then their special teams are really good as well. Have a great punt returner and kickoff returner. So they're in the top 10 for a reason, because they've well coached and big and fast. So we're excited about the challenge, but it certainly is a challenge.
Very good going.
Yeah, any update on Taylor, and how have you guys kind of managed him this week and last week?
Last week it was probably that way, Trey, for everybody on the team. We was trying to get healthy, but yet um, uh, get some physicality as well on Thursday. Taylor practiced. First was a walkthrough, which he would be practicing whether he was healthy or not, in that. But he's practiced each day. We're hopeful that he'll be ready to go. So I feel like he will, but we'll have to wait and see a little bit more. I probably know a little bit more about Tuesday, Wednesday, but we're hoping that he's ready to play, and we think he'll be able to.
With the Oklahoma State game, you guys were able to watch the game live because y'all played on a Thursday, their Saturday game. Did y'all watch the LSU game any kind of capacity like that?
I think our staff did. I watched the last quarter, I guess, live. Certainly, obviously, came in yesterday and watched all of it, but um, I think most of our staff did. I didn't see it. I was at a concert. I'm gonna catch hell for that too. But by the way, so you guys know, we get the tape, and I can watch it and every rap like 50 times if I wanted to. My wife wanted to go to a concert, so I went. So y'all have fun with that.
What?
Tracy Lawrence, he was good.
Just other injury updates from you, Coach. Patrick Kudus, you mentioned him last week. Miguel Mitchell, Jalen Braxton, Rodney Hill.
Okay,
All at you at once.
who'd you say? Kudus. Practice. We'll practice this week. Hopefully, he'll be available on Saturday. Miguel will be ready. Who else did you say?
Jalen Braxton.
Braxton, I don't think he'll be
And
ready
welcome in here
this
live
week.
at CMAX Southern Kitchen here at 2190 MLK Boulevard. It's our Monday edition of Talking Season. Boy, we have a lot to talk about. First, one of our topics, Arkansas LSU, 6 o'clock kickoff. What will you be looking for? What are going to be some of the keys? And do you have a better understanding of how this game will go out if you had a chance to watch the Ole Miss LSU game? And also, too, Arkansas basketball. The AP poll is out, and your Hogs are number 16. Is that about right, considering the type of season that they had, or should they be higher, lower? What do you think about that? All those things we're going to talk about. But we opened up with Sam Pittman, recapping, previewing this upcoming LSU game. I had a chance to see the LSU Ole Miss game, and I feel real good about Arkansas's chances at 6 o'clock with the Battle of the Boot. I don't think a lot of people may not realize, but every game that Coach Pittman has been involved in this LSU Arkansas series, 3 points. So you automatically know with the history of this series with Coach Pittman, it's going to be a hell of a game to come and watch on Saturday night. I think the crowd could play a big factor in this game. I really do. I think it's going to be a red out is what they put out on social media. So I really think with the energy of what they were able to do against Tennessee and then another top 10 team coming in, which is the first time that Arkansas has had back-to-back top 10 teams ever in Fayetteville. That's, from my history of watching and being around this program, that's pretty shocking to me. But I do think the energy level will be even higher than it was in that LSU game 2 weeks ago at Down W.
Yeah, I think this is a big game, not only to the momentum of, the Razorback fan base, this being a trophy game, but I also think it's a big game in your yearly prediction of your 8-5. I think this is the game that they have to win to really go on that winning streak to really get this SEC thing going, knowing that they have a couple of games that still kind of 50-50 games. I think this is definitely one that they're going to need to win to really potentially, I'm saying potentially now, this is potential because it's still a little early, Arkansas looking like they maybe could be in that bottom half of the playoffs if they continue. And this is a long shot. I know it's a couple of weeks out, but I think this is the beginning of that stretch that if they handle business, they can be in that contention and conversation. I know they haven't even cracked the top 25, but let's just be honest. I think there'll still at least be 2 to 3 teams in that playoff from the SEC.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I said 8 wins if they were to get in that 12-team playoff system. I mean, hell, every coach on that staff needs to get a raise, and that's no disrespect to that staff because I think they've done a great job this year. When I look at the game, and I want to ask a question from my good buddy Jared Fraley. He chimes in and says, Nussmeier is the best quarterback in the nation. Can our secondary cover LSU? I wouldn't call him the best in the nation. Mr. Gabriel up there at Oregon State may have something to say about that. But he is a very, very good quarterback. Like I said, I had a chance to watch that game on Saturday. And the one thing that I've known about Nussmeier watching this season, he will throw it to the other team once or twice. Now, and he's really elusive. He does step up in the pocket. He's really good with his legs. Arkansas is going to have to just put pressure on him. And can they beat those 2 tackles at LSU? That's going to be the biggest key because those dudes are pros.
Now, in respect for Sam Pittman now, I'm going to let y'all know I didn't wear my LSU hat today. I started to. I really did start to wear my LSU hat. But out of respect for Sam Pittman in this game week, I didn't. But, Pat, I was talking about this game at SEC Media Day. Mm-hmm. And our former intern Mason kept laughing at me, and I kept saying, man, watch LSU. Yeah. They're going to be a sleeper team. They're my dark. I said Arkansas was my dark horse, and I said LSU was my dark horse of the SEC. Those were going to be the 2 teams that could upset some people. And here we are, lo and behold, these are 2 teams that people are kind of like, hey, these 2 guys are better than we thought. This quarterback is actually coming in here playing. And they kept telling me, Nussmeier, he's a game manager. And it looks like he's excelling. Arguably, I don't know if he's leading.
He's got some pretty good receivers as well.
I'm not sure if he's leading the conference in passing, but
he's up there.
I know he's top 3 for sure.
I think he's second in the
conference. I know I think Dart's number 1, and
yep.
I think following Dart, it would be him.
Do you realize their offensive line has only given up 2 sacks all season?
But
which is
Pat, we talked about
really,
that.
really good.
We said, man, all they need to do is have a stout defensive line and an offensive line that could compete. And I kept saying, hey man, I'm not really concerned about their skill positions. You're in the state of Louisiana. You can find a running back, you can find a receiver, as long as you got those big uglies up front, man. LSU is a tough team to play.
Aaron said, or Jared said, wearing the other team's hat to get you in trouble at Arkansas.
Hey, it will. Hey, out of respect for Sam Pittman, I did not wear my LSU hat. I didn't. I looked at it. And I was like, I want to wear a hat today. I'm like, you know what? Let me just get my tailgate pregame hat on and put it on. But, I think this is going to be a great environment. I think
it's going to be a lot of zero coverage.
It's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a defensive game, and it's going to be exciting.
So the one thing when I looked at LSU, I think Arkansas can get them in the passing game. But those 2 defensive ends, Swanson and his counterpart, they're going to have – Blackstock and Carmona have their hands full. I did see a little advantage. They were able to run the ball, but if they can, stymie those defensive ends. Arkansas – and I know a strength is those linebackers at LSU. That's going to be a big big part. Their front seven is the LSU defense. Are they? To me, they're not that much better than they were last year, but they are. But they are noticeably better than what they were last year. I think the fact having the guy we had on the media day, Harold Perkins, being out, I think at some point it's going to rear its ugly head with this defense not having him, because he was so versatile and they used him in so many ways, and he was the best defensive player. But I like the Meeks kid that they have at linebacker, number 40. I think Arkansas is going to have to contain him, and if they can contain him, I think they'll have a little movement. And look out for those two defense ends. I think those are the three players on LSU's defense Arkansas offensively are going to have to account for. If they do that, I expect this team to have some success.
I think the difference is going to be special teams. I think when you look at these offenses and all they're opposite, because I feel like LSU is a pass first, run second, and Arkansas is more of a run first, pass second. I think special teams is where the difference is going to be. It is going to have to be a block punt or a missed field goal that could have tied the game up or took the lead. I think that's where the game is really going to swing, and it like you say, it's 3 points.
Yes,
it always boils down to a 3-point game. So I think it's really going to boil down to who makes the least amount of turnovers and who can make a big explosive play on their special teams to really change the momentum of the game.
As LSU, they do have a kicker, but I think one of Arkansas's biggest weapons, and it doesn't get talked about, is the punter, Bale. When you think about those last two punts in that Tennessee game, I mean, those two changed the field. I mean, that last one he hit, I think, was over 60 some odd yards. Got Arkansas the ball at the 41. And when you think about that, if you can have a punter and you have good special teams, that can be another defensive weapon. So I think this young man is going to be a big weapon. And I agree with Sam, and we'll continue to say it. If Arkansas does not turn the ball over Saturday night, I like this team's chances to win the football game. I think, they're not – when you look at the offensive stats, and it's shocking. Offensive stats are a little bit better than their defensive stats, but you see improvement within this team. And I just think, like I said, I think that Tennessee win, and I said it, back in fall camp, that team is going to win a game that maybe they didn't think they could get, and it would shoot them into the a very successful season. I think Arkansas. I said 8. I'm gonna go on the record. 5-1 this second half. 5-1 at worst. So I'm looking for 8-4, 9-3 at worst when the season is done.
Man, I got to stick to my 7-5, man.
I'm staying around my 8. I'm staying at 8-4.
Hey, you
but
stand on business.
Get to 9-3.
Ain't that wrong? Look, it's only wrong when you go down.
Yeah.
You can change it as long as you're going up. You can't change it going down.
Right.
So that's why I say I got to stick with my 7-5. I think they can exceed. I think they have the opportunity to exceed that 7-5.
Right.
But I don't see them going below that 7-5. I can see them winning that 8th game and potentially going to a bigger bowl game.
See, if things work out, this could possibly be an 8-2 Arkansas team when Texas rolls in here. I mean, if they win the next 3. Well, you're talking about a 7-2 Arkansas team.
Hey, you know who I gotta send my condolences out to this weekend from last week. I gotta send some heartfelt love down there to Oklahoma to our old buddy.
I ain't heard from
Coach
him.
No, I heard from him. I texted him.
I ain't heard from him.
Shout out Coach Wilkinson. I sent him a text to check up.
I tried to tell him no.
I tried to check him up.
I tried to tell him.
Check up on them Sooners, man.
I tried to tell him they wouldn't win 6 games. I tried to tell him they wouldn't have a better record.
I told him to get his spear fingers ready to work on that hog call.
No, he better get that number 6 Arkansas jersey and put it on. That's what he better go and do. Start looking for him in Arkansas jersey. This is a wrap right here. I won that.
Hey, he said we ain't out the gauntlet yet. He said we might end up with the same record as Oklahoma.
No. Arkansas will win 6. They will beat Louisiana Tech and Mississippi State.
That's what I told him. That's what I told him.
I think they're going to beat Ole Miss because I think now Ole Miss being out of the playoffs and they're going to get another loss. They got Georgia coming up.
Yeah.
No. Ole Miss plays, I believe.
Let me see. I can go check.
OU this week.
Oh yeah, because I think we said that could have been
Georgia plays Texas. I think Ole Miss and Oklahoma play this weekend. So that's going to be another tough matchup. I just, with Ole Miss, and they're starting to do what I thought they would do, fizzle out after that first loss. I think Arkansas beats them here in Fayetteville because just like Tennessee, Ole Miss does not have a good history of winning here in Fayetteville. I mean, once every blue moon, they might win here. I think Houston Nutt was the last coach to win here.
Yeah, you're right. They play
as
LSU.
Ole Miss.
I mean,
as an Ole Miss coach.
Oklahoma.
So when you got that coming in, Arkansas is just in a very good situation coming into that game. If they can take care of business these next 3 weeks, you're talking about 7-2 Arkansas Razorback team with possibly, and I'm not saying possibly, probably another top 10 matchup with Texas. And by the way, they have announced next week's kickoff at Davis Wade Stadium down in Mississippi State for 11:45 will be the kickoff time for the Dogs and the Hogs in that matchup. On the road, one of the last two for Arkansas. And the reason why I feel so good about Arkansas in this 8-4 is just when you look at the second half of the schedule, I mean, 4 of 6 in state. And then the 2 road games that you have at Missouri and at Mississippi State are very, very winnable.
Man, Pat, I want to know why they got this Texas game at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 11 a.m., yeah.
That's
November
crazy.
16th. November 16th.
That's diabolical right there. That's going to be
I mean, when you look at it, I'm kind of glad it'll be a little bit warmer at 11 o'clock than it would at 6 o'clock at night.
I didn't need it at 6. I just didn't need it at 11. That's all I'm saying. Whew.
Yeah, that's that high noon game. And, you know, some of the guys on Arkansas's teams have talked about those 11 o'clock, how they kind of like them. I mean, kind of when you look at it and over, you know, when you look at TV, those are some of the marquee games this season.
I'm speaking from a pregame. I'm speaking from a pregame.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's going to be a tough.
But that's going to be an interesting game right there. That's why I say Arkansas going on this win streak. I want to see them string multiple games together. I think that's why they don't crack that top 25. I think they do have a reputable product on the field this year. I just think they need to string games together where people can say, okay, this is a quality football and not a quality moment.
Right.
Because I think sometimes football teams can build themselves up to have moments where, hey, this looks like a good football team, but can you be consistent? I think that's the telltale sign from a good football program.
We're down here live at CMAC Southern Kitchen. We're located at 2190 MLK Boulevard here in Fayetteville. If you want to come down, visit with us, or just come on down and get you some of this really, really, really good food. And like they say, it is just that good, and it's made Southern at heart for sure. I guarantee you. You can come on down here and get you some of this good stuff. They've got fish, they've got chicken, they've got wings, they've got burgers, they've got fried
tacos,
fish tacos, they've got po' boy sandwiches, they've got corn nuggets, they've got street corn, mac and cheese, you name it. It's just really good food. So just come down here. They also have locations at 7420 West Sunset Avenue there in Town, at 909 South Thompson in Springdale, and off of Highway 412. They have a location there in Siloam Springs. So make sure you get to one of these 4 locations. Got a couple more coming up, but we'll share those details as we get closer to those announcements. Just a really good place to come and eat, and just come and enjoy the atmosphere. That's what I like. Oh, and if you like tea, or they have all the beverages, and they have really good shakes, I might add. Just thought I'd throw that in there. But, hey, we're going to take a real quick break. We'll let you hear more of what Coach Pittman had to say during our media day, our media availability with Coach, and then we'll come back. Question up, Arkansas 16th in the poll. Too high, too low? Did you expect it? Give us your opinion. It's on the hill, and it's talking season, live at CMAC Southern Kitchen.
Anything crazy or elite, but he's playing really good football. What does Landon do that makes him so impactful, you know, even when he's not maybe getting to the quarterback?
He plays hard. Number one, he's long, but he plays hard. He has his get off is much faster this year than it's been. So he's putting the tackle in a two-way go. You know, obviously if you get off slow, you're either going to bull or run the edge. Now he has added that spin and or that inside move where he's getting the tackle to open up a little bit. It'll be a big challenge for their tackles and for him. Be a good matchup. But that's what he's doing. He's playing just so much quicker off the ball than what he has been.
And then on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, you were really pleased with how the offensive line played against Tennessee. What went into maybe the improved play? Was it any better communication, any one particular person? What kind of led to that?
Well, I was pleased that we got better. We still have a long way to go there. But we have willing participants up there. I thought Carmona played his as good a game as he's played since he's been here. I thought Nichols did. So when those guys started, Braun's been really consistent. E. Harris has been consistent. Keyshawn has been consistent or has been good at times, and then sometimes his technique has gone awry on him, which we're trying to get fixed. And he's willing to. I love him. He's going to be fine. But I think as a group, they all five of them had some of their better game, a little bit better game than what they had before, and that makes them together. We didn't have the blatant missed assignments as much as we had in the past.
Talk about Braylon Russell, because I feel like we talk about him a little bit here and there, but just overall, what has he shown you since the day that he walked on campus for him to play such a role early on as a freshman?
Well, freshmen to get on the field, I think the first thing they have to show you is that they're tough. I mean, that's because if they're not, they'll be on for a game and off for two. And
welcome back here live at CMAC Southern Kitchens, located at 2190 MLK Boulevard here in Fayetteville. Great atmosphere, great food. It's talking season, and we let you hear more of Sam Pittman. But before the break, our question was Arkansas, as the AP poll for collegiate basketball came out today, your Razorbacks come in at number 16 in the first top 25 poll of the season. In your opinion, is that just about right? I think it's right. I think real more so, just to be honest, I think it's the Cal effect. And they have really, 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 when you look at this roster, it's a top 25.
They got some dudes on there.
It's a top 20 roster. So I would say 16th is about right, but I think it will be not too far into the season that this team will really jump into the top 10. This team, from everything I've heard and seen and just seeing the guys out and about town, this is one of those teams I'm used to seeing, the Corliss Williamson, the 90, 91, those teams that were real close. I think Cal I think he's got magic in a bottle.
Man, I want to say shout out to Cal because I think he gets it. I think he just, for him not to be raised or understand or be from Arkansas, he gets it. Even him going to Hot Springs, and I'm going through looking through the pictures and seeing him like how to and this is no disrespect to Must or to downgrade what he did, because I think he did a excellent job for the time that he was here in Fayetteville. But I just think the way Cal is coming in and connecting himself with the community is top tier. Coming in, creating events that we've never had, where they're bringing fans in to play in Bud Walton, having satellite camps.
Right.
Those type of things are cutting edge, and I'm glad he understands the value of bringing those type of things to the University of Arkansas. He understands to go get a Nolan Richardson and bring him to practice. He understands to go talk to a Joe Johnson and bring him on as player personnel or whatever his title is. He understands to go get the former alumni and figure out, hey, how can I get you guys to regularly come in? Like, those are things that I'm glad Cal is not only setting in the basketball world, but he's also setting an example for football to, take part of those things, like bringing former alumni back, having events where you do make that bridge and those gaps between these newer players and those older players, and building that Razorback Hog family. But man, he's making me excited. I'm not even a basketball guy, but just what I see from a organizational and program standpoint, I'm loving the way he's branding Arkansas and putting them on the national stage.
And see, I always thought I thought Cal had a love for Arkansas, but years ago, and I'll tell that story a lot. Had things went a little more differently, probably before he took that Memphis job, Calipari would have built the same legacy that he did at Kentucky. Probably would have been built here in Fayetteville. He understands the history of the program, and I think the biggest thing he did was making that call to Nolan Richardson. And you can kind of see this because I can go back, and I remember the days when Nolan would take out the basketball team, and they would go to Hot Springs, and they would go do these exhibition games or these scrimmage games. I mean, when you endear the state to your team, and that's just how basketball is, it's going to be a lot easier when everybody that can't make the game, and Cal understands that. You might not be able to make the seat, but to have a piece of that young man, it will keep you connected like you're there at that stadium. And then the kid gets a chance to see that young man or that older woman or whatever, and they express their love for the Razorbacks. And that's going to work on a Trevor Brazile or a Carter Knox or a Boogie Flan or those type of guys. They remember that stuff, John L. Davis, and they're going to go out and play a little bit harder. So Cal gets it. He totally gets it.
And Pat, that's the only way you can go ask for people to give them money.
Right.
When you go do things like that and then you say, hey,
When they feel a part of it.
would you like to donate to our NIL? You know
Yes.
what? I would. You came to Hot Springs and allowed my child to get a lifelong experience being a part of that and seeing the hogs and getting to see a hog call. Like, those are things that
Right.
makes people want to give to your program, makes you want to donate to the athletics because they see the impact that it makes on the community and the youth.
Right.
But I think that's the way that you get Arkansas to really fund the NIL like we want to. You have to make this team and these programs, not just basketball, not just football, baseball. We want to see these guys in the community, and not just Fayetteville, because Arkansas is bigger than Fayetteville. I think when they start taking those type of programs throughout the state and doing those type of things, then I think you'll start saying, hey, we should be up there with Ole Miss when it comes to NIL. We should be up here with X, Y, and Z with NIL because now people are immersed and invested into the program. But I think that's what it's going to take for Hunter Yurichek to really make that jump in NIL the way he really sees for us to be competitive on a national level.
Jared's on a roll today. Jared said to the question of where the ranking of basketball, Jared said about right, just get 22, 24 wins and get in the dance, then go show out.
Always.
I think this team is going to have a very deep run in this season's tournament. I think this team's going to vie for the SEC championship and as well going to that SEC tournament have a better chance than they've had in several years. This, to me, is going to be a real connected basketball team. When I'm on the sidelines or I'm out and about town, as I said, you're at games and whatnot, you see 3 to 4 of them all together, and they generally seem like they are really excited to play with one another. And like I said, when you get guys like Adu and Davis and Wagner, Thiero, those guys have done it at a high level in the SEC. Davis, he understands what it's like to be at the Final Four. I mean, he's done it. He's been there. So this is going to be a team that's going to be very mature and very talented, and I think they have the right leader in Cal and his staff to do something really, really special. And the one thing I think Cal has never had is a fan base that's so hungry and rabid for their program. It's Kentucky, but I don't think – because I had a conversation with Tyler Eulis. We were standing on the sideline at the UAB game, and I asked Tyler about this, how he's liking it. And as he said, if Cal had been here when he was coming out, he would have been a Razorback because he felt like he could tell the fan base, as he was standing in that stadium football-wise, was totally more engaged than what he said he had ever felt at Kentucky. I mean, it's a well-known program, but he felt like the fan base here at Arkansas was a lot more rabid and a lot more supportive for their program and made them feel more starish, superstar type. And that, so when people like that say it, I mean, Fayetteville, and when you get here and see the facilities, and this city will shock you.
And I can understand why. I think Fayetteville still longs for that due championship. And because even when you look at baseball, we've been let down probably the last 10 years pretty bad. I'm talking about
the last 3 or so. I know that.
I say 10. I say 10. I'm just saying throughout sports in general.
Right.
Even when you look at going back to those basketball games where it was us and UNC, and it's like, okay, if we get 1 or 2 calls,
right,
we're in the Elite 8 or Final Four, or the team that we lose to goes on to win the national championship. These last 10 years have been hard because you see it in baseball. There was a little stint in baseball where we're right there. There's a stint in basketball where we're right there.
Right.
Now, football,
that's just man. Well, I mean, I think half of football situation is just the constant turnover with your coaches.
Absolutely, I can agree.
I mean, you can't continue to always think you need to get somebody 3-4 years. Let's get a new one 3-4 years, because what you only do, you set yourself back off the 3 years of his then you set yourself back, and it never ends. I mean,
I
it
think
just
the only
never
time
ends.
you make an exception to that is probably like a Chad Morris, where you just
Man.
know, like this ain't
cat.
going. I don't care how much recruiting you do.
He popped the clutch.
This ain't
It
gonna
just-
work.
The
This-
clutch just
this-
the
this-
brakes was out. The clutch
it-
didn't stop.
The rotors, the
My goodness. Who? In my next question, who is your most overrated team right now in the SEC? Who's that one team that you're like, man, come on?
Tennessee and Ole Miss.
I would have to, what I would say it would be Ole Miss. I would say Missouri. I would say those two.
Nah, I still think
I'm still gonna stick on the ones I said. That's why
I think you
said
just got a personal vendetta
That's why I
with,
said
with,
that.
with Missouri. I actually think Missouri is the middle of the team pack. Now, are they overrated? Yes, I say
Yes,
they're overrated.
very overrated.
I don't think they're a top 4 or 5, but I think they're that middle. I know I said 4 or 5, but I give them probably 5 to 8. I see them probably somewhere into that 5 to 8.
Who's your most disappointing team?
Most disappointing.
I'm gonna say Alabama.
I won't say Alabama because I still believe that they're trending upward.
See, I think with Alabama, I think people still believe they're the Saban Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I was talking
their
to somebody
secondary,
about that.
I'm just gonna be honest. Their secondary is nowhere near their deep. I mean, this is not the type of team that puts fear into you. This is a team that's very beatable. This is a team that if you match their physicality, you can stay in the ball game. It's just I think people need to realize this is it's going to be a different era. You can't trade coaches and staff members and still think you're going to come back with the same product. No, that's not going to happen. I mean, we all saw when Nolan left the University of Arkansas, it was never the same and hadn't been. I mean, they've had some good years in basketball. We went to Final Fours, won some SEC championships, had Player of the Year, did well at the tournament, but you haven't had that true dominance and national power, that national brand. And I think that's what's going to happen to Alabama as the years goes on. This does not look like the Alabama that we've seen over the last 3 to 10 to 15 years.
It's not, and I didn't expect it to be. That's why I say they're not disappointing to me because I expected them to have they're actually exceeding what I expected them to do right now because I didn't think they were going to come in and just focus. And I think you're starting to see it now. I don't think with them it's can they win, it's how do they manage success now that the guy that's been winning all this time has left, and now you have a guy that you're not sure how he reacts to winning. I think before last year, I didn't know who this coach was. I mean, I don't care what people probably, older guys are maybe familiar with.
I was familiar. I'm older, yeah.
That's why older guys are maybe familiar. I didn't know about him until he got to Washington. So to me, I'm still looking to see, okay, how does this guy – manage his team once his team is in that national spotlight and they're not a Washington where you don't know what they're going to – you're Alabama. So you come in the game with a target on your back. You come in the game for teams to look and storm the field after they beat you. So I think that's the part of the uncertainty that I was like, man, I can't expect him to go back behind a Hall of Fame college coach, Saban.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go 1 through 16, and I want you guys to chime in, give us an A, B, give us your grade on where you think this team, what grade they have at the halfway point.
That's cool.
First, Alabama. I'll go B.
I was going to say B. I give him B minus. I give him B minus because I still think man, that Vanderbilt hurt. I don't care what
Vandy's
nobody
the
say.
real deal.
I think Vandy's still a B in that
Vandy's
upper
a good
echelon
football
of.
team.
But I'm saying from a media standpoint and from a program standpoint, I think it was a hit, and that's why I got to give them a B on that one.
Auburn. F, big fat F. F.
I'm gonna give Auburn a D.
Can't even get a D.
Nah,
That's a F.
I'm gonna give them a D, just because, man.
Hughes a talker. Hughes talked and not produced. I'll give him a F.
I gotta give them a little bit more time.
Let's go Oklahoma. I'll give Oklahoma a D.
C. I give them a C.
I'll give them a D.
No
offense.
I think they didn't know what they were getting into, and he's working with the best he got.
Offense, and he's without his top 5 receivers, which that'll hurt you in any on any team.
I got to give them C because I don't think their defense is bad. I think
their defense is real good.
that's why I got to give him, I got to give him a passing grade because I think their defense is a little bit better than I expected for them to be a first-year SEC team. Even when we were talking before the season, I said, man, their room is small. They
Next
got
up,
6'2" guys.
Let's go Missouri.
Oh, here you go.
I'm gonna give Missouri. I'm not gonna give them a bad grade. I'm gonna give them a B plus. I'll give them a B. No B. I'll give them a regular B.
I give them a B.
I still think that they're, like I said, defensively they're not where they were, and they're not running the football. And Cook, the quarterback, is not having the season. I think a lot of people thought he would have following up what he did last year, but that was due to having a great running back, great running game, offensive line that was real old, and he was able to do a lot of play action. So I'll give him a B. I won't hurt him too bad. I'll be nice. Okay. Who we got next?
Got Tennessee.
Tennessee. I'll give them a B plus. A B plus. That's what I'll give them.
I'll go B plus. Outside of Arkansas, I mean.
Let's go Vanderbilt.
I got to go B plus. I think they're exceeding
Go B
expectations.
plus.
They're exceeding, and I think even when the seasons, minus their record, I still probably have to give them no less than a CB the entirety of the year because I feel like they've already surpassed all expectations.
Ole Miss, C. I'll give them a B as well. I'll give them a B.
I'm giving Ole Miss a D. I see them. They finna go on a mudslide here.
I would not be shocked if that happens.
They better go on a mudslide here.
Texas A&M. I'm giving them an A.
Man, I got to give them an A too.
That defense that they got.
I got to give them they're ugly, and that was an ugly first loss. But I said that, Pat. I said, man, A&M always lose a game early on in the season, and then midway through the season, they crank it up.
Yes, defensively, they're very, very, very elite, and especially in particular on that interior defensive line. Those guys are elite across that front.
For sure.
Who else we got? South Carolina.
South Cackalack.
I'm giving them a D.
I can't give them a D.
Giving them a D.
Man, they lost some close games. I gotta go C. I go C. I give them a solid C.
Okay.
They won some games they shouldn't have, and then they lost some that they had the potential. Because you talk about they would have upset Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Alabama they played?
Georgia they played good.
And then you talk about Alabama.
Upset Ole Miss. Well, no. Who we talking about? Kentucky?
No. We're talking about South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah.
So,
played Kentucky tough, and then just the wheels for whatever. Should have beaten LSU, if not for a penalty on the defense.
So you're talking about two games where they should have potentially won. So I got to give them a C.
Now let's go Kentucky.
Well,
I'll go C. No, I'll go
I think
D.
You gotta go B.
I'm gonna go D on them.
Well, they ended up losing that game.
I'm gonna go D because you just never know what the consistency is the problem with this football team.
I'll go C.
Mississippi State F.
Man, I think you give them ineligible. Like,
there's two Fs in the SEC that
man,
I got.
I still think Mississippi State is still hurt from that death of their head coach.
Anytime that you have Coach Candy coaching your offensive line, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, but I still got to give them a little. I won't say pity, but a little.
Hey, Jared said Vandy gets an A because they put a 40-piece on Bama.
Hey, I definitely give them an A for sure.
Sitting at 2-1, I mean, I might go A minus with Vandy. I may go A minus. The Florida Gators. That's my last F.
That's who get that F right there.
It's just a matter of time.
Napier has he don't have any excuse. Mississippi State lost a great Hall of Fame coach.
Right.
That's why I say I got to make them ineligible because that's some stuff that really take about 3 to 4 years to really shake back from. Because you're talking about lost a couple of people on that staff, a couple of changes. So I definitely got to get him. But Florida deserves a new coach. I won't even give him a grade.
The Georgia Bulldogs. I'll give them an A. I give them a straight A minus. I think Carson Beck needs to play a little better. And to me, their defense, really their secondary is kind of the head scratcher to me.
They're getting a B.
So I'll give them an A minus.
Because really with their recruiting class, they shouldn't be losing and struggling. Even though they've won games, man, they've been some ugly games that it's not the Georgia of old that we were expecting to really dominate.
Right.
Once Nick Saban left. So I have to go B. I have to go B, C plus.
Let's go the LS Who Tigers.
Oh yeah, you know them my boys.
I'll give them a B. I'll give them a B.
I'm gonna give them an A just because they lost Harold Perkins and they're still finding a way to get these ugly wins because I think
very ugly.
Yeah, but a win is a win, and I think they're still gonna be trending upward. But I think this Arkansas LSU game is really gonna tell a lot because it's gonna be such a physical game. I think some people are gonna end up some man down after this
when
LSU
this
battle.
weekend and the SEC concludes, a lot of stuff will start become more clear. I think
it definitely is.
We still got two more. The Texas Longhorns,
Ooh.
A plus.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it real.
Them jokers rolling.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real.
Them jokers
A
rolling.
plus, by far the best team I've seen in the SEC.
Especially with all they lost on offense. You
Man.
know, they just keep finding a way, and they keep plugging guys in and not missing a beat.
What up, D. Calhoun? We see you, bub. Thanks for the support. Also, Andre Thompson Sr. I want to thank those guys for supporting and taking a peek of us here live at CMAC Southern Kitchen. And then lastly, our ball club, the Arkansas Razorbacks. I will give this football team a B plus. Can't give them an A because I feel like there's too many scenarios in the special teams that has to get. But I'll give this team a B plus.
I'm not going B. I'm gonna go C plus. I say C plus because I still feel like they gave 2 games up that they shouldn't have. And I still think there's a little quarterback issue that I think we're going to figure out if we're going left or right this week. I think this will be whoever comes out and plays right this week is going to have the keys to the Cadillac the rest of the year.
Well,
So I think this is going to be a big game.
Well, there you have it. You heard it from us today. We gave you our final grades. Now, we'll be back here live, very same place on Wednesday from 1 to 1:45. With the Casey Dick Show. As they've got a big one, we'll have Coach Dick in. He'll recap this
gonna be
previous
big.
game.
This personal game.
Versus the Grizzlies. And then, hey, they're going to try to run it back and get a get-back game that they didn't get 2 years ago in a very close one on the road as they'll be taking on their rival, the Bentonville Tigers. A lot going on. Going to be a big weekend in
gonna be a personal
in 7A
it's
West.
a lot
Top 4 teams are hooking up, so we'll be able to know a lot about that. But we'll also have in studio with Coach here, live at CMAX, Reed Slanker. The senior linebacker will be joining us, as well as we're trying to get our good guy that one of the state's best receivers, JD3.
Yes, sir.
And Arkansas baseball commit, Jason Dallimore. And
my guy.
we'll leave that third one as a surprise. We'll just leave that third one as a surprise. Might be KJ, could be Luke. We'll just leave that as a surprise. But those will be 2 that we know are going to be joining us. I mean, we always like to let you guys see what these kids are like in that program. It's a very good program. And hey, they've had a lot of success, but Friday is definitely going to be a ball game, and it's something I think if you're not doing anything this coming Friday, you might want to get out and come up to Tiger Stadium and check it out. Or you can check us out on our live stream. That's On the Hill Media TV. We come on with the pregame at 6:15, followed by kickoff. My guy, myself, Aaron Rags, and our
boiled
new
chicken
the boiled
man.
chicken man.
Boiled chicken man. Look,
DC.
You got to turn your lip when you say the boiled chicken man.
With our producer, Demetrius Johnson, we'll all be on site to bring you each and every snap, each and every play. And, hey, we'll be there. We hope you will, too. But that's going to do it. We want to thank our sponsors. That's Lindsay & Associates with an office in Fayetteville, one in Rogers, and their newest location in Bentonville. That's Lindsay & Associates. We bring great neighbors together. It's also brought to you by CMAC Southern Kitchen. They have locations in Fayetteville at 2190 MLK Boulevard, Tawnytown 7420 West Sunset Avenue, Springdale 909 South Thompson, and off of Highway 412 in Siloam Springs. And it is just that good. And they do. It's made Southern at heart for sure. I'm telling you, get on down here. Also, First Choice Protection Systems. And get this, if you're a veteran, they will honor the veteran discount. So make sure to reach out to our good buddies at First Choice Protection Systems for all your security needs. They'll definitely take care of you. Hey, for my producer, myself, we want to thank you guys, and we'll see you on Wednesday. It's On the Hill, and it's talking season live from CMAC Southern Kitchen. And you know what I say? Let's get it.